Okay, so it's Sunday, November 23rd, 2025. It's the 327th day of the year, and we're staring down a travel week for millions that's probably going to get pretty hectic pretty fast. We've got a sneaky fall severe weather setup on the way, a Thanksgiving cold blast, and yes, actual snow that's going to try to impact a lot of people around the holidays. So let's get right into it. So we're going to have a pretty busy week, and we've got a lot to talk about in the South, but let's start off in the North because we've got a pretty in-depth section for the South coming up. If your travel plans involve traveling through the Northern Plains at all, especially around Tuesday and Wednesday, make sure you pay attention here because there's going to be a lot of attention given to the southern part of this storm system that's about to come through. But look at this. We've got a significant snow and wind shot coming through Minneapolis on Tuesday. This is what it's going to look like around 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. We could have heavy snow in the general Minneapolis area. That's going to go on up into the UP of Michigan, over into Wisconsin as well, and then, of course, into Canada as a strong low pressure system with very strong Arctic winds bringing down cold air from Canada, even down into the upper Midwest, down into the Ohio Valley. It's going to get colder. This is the, big cold snap that we've been, advertising. It's finally looking like it's going to be here this Tuesday into Wednesday, and then that's going to really turn on the lake effect snow machines here as we go forward. And we're not just talking about a dusting of snow here. This is real snow. We've got potentially 10 inches of snow coming to South Dakota and North Dakota. A more conservative forecast is going to be 3 to 6 inches in this region. I do think north of Minneapolis, there's going to be a couple places that get over 8 inches of snow. The GFS is painting a swath of a foot or more here for northern Wisconsin over into the UP of Michigan. Now, this is all the way through the 28th, but a lot of this is going to fall early in the week as a result of that storm that's going to come through. So once again, if you're in the northern United States, if you're traveling before Thanksgiving over here, during or after Thanksgiving over here, do expect some travel problems as a result of the snow, especially the lake effect snow on the back end. This is going to start on Thanksgiving and then continue through the weekend over here in upstate New York, portions of Pennsylvania, northeast Ohio. I do think that we're going to have some pretty significant lake enhanced and lake effect snow as a result of this storm system. And of course, this is all a result of the big cold blast that we've been advertising here. It's going to be warm in the southern and eastern part of the country before the cold blast comes, but we're really going to start to feel that Tuesday into Wednesday over here in the central United States. And then everybody's going to cool off east of the Rockies by the time we get into Thanksgiving. So this is on Thanksgiving Day. You can see that even down into Florida, we're getting a little bit below average. But I do want to emphasize that while this is a pretty substantial cold blast due to the size of it, it's not going to be very intense. There's a corridor of 10 to 20 degree below average temperatures from the Dakotas down through the Great Lakes. But for the most part, we're going to be around seasonal averages to just below average with our temperatures. It's going to feel cold because we're used to the warmth, but this is not like some historic Arctic outbreak or anything like that. It's just going to be a noticeable change for millions of people. Now, as we get past Thanksgiving, things do get a little bit colder, especially in the southeast. We're talking about 15 to 20 degrees below average down here in the Appalachians, down towards the Piedmont, and this is going to stick around for quite some time. Now, let me just tease something real quick. If I pull this even farther into the future, talk about a major Arctic outbreak. I don't know what's going on with the GFS model here, but if this is even close to correct, boy, we are going to have a very busy transition from November into December. This is December 2nd with a literally historic cold blast coming down into the Rockies and central southern plains, and then a historic heat wave out in front of that with a very sharp gradient in between. I don't know if we should put in any stock into this or if the GFS is out to lunch, but just know that things do look at least somewhat active even past Thanksgiving. All right, let's snap back to reality and talk about some stuff that is more realistic. Starting today, where we have a slight risk of severe weather in Midland and Big Spring over here west of Abilene and San Angelo in Texas. We got a marginal risk of severe weather that goes all the way over there towards Dallas, up there towards Wichita Falls as well. Looks like hail and damaging winds are going to be the main threat there. This system is going to move east and produce some more robust severe weather tomorrow south and east of Dallas. Dallas, north and east of Austin. Shreveport is kind of ground zero here for some of the more significant storms as we go through your day on Monday into Tuesday. This is actually looking like it could have a little bit of a tornado threat with it. So a live stream is not out of the question on Monday and even Tuesday as the storm continues to move east. This is that cold front that's bringing our cold air for Thanksgiving. We already have a day 3 marginal risk for Mississippi up through Alabama and then into Tennessee, Georgia, and a little bit of North Carolina there. And once again, it looks like there could be a tornado element to this part of the storm as well. It's a little bit too far out to talk specifics, but just know that we are looking at a pretty robust severe weather situation on the south side of the storm. We got cold and snow in the north, rain and storms in the south. And we're about to dive so much deeper into that, but first let's shout out today's awesome sponsor. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Have you guys noticed that the hardest things to find are always the ones that you need the most? Whether it's a flashlight during a power outage, a Yalameter during a snowstorm, or that one hoodie that disappears every time it gets cold outside. Now, I can't promise that you'll ever be able to find those things instantly, but if you're hiring right now, you can find qualified candidates right away, time and time again, with ZipRecruiter. And today you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/Ryan Hall. ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology works fast to help you find top talent, and with their advanced resume database, you can unlock top candidates' contact info instantly. So you can find somebody to do the job, you can call them right away. It's built to make hiring easy, fast, and reliable, which I think is something every team could use. Want to know right away how many qualified candidates are in your area? Look no further than ZipRecruiter. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/Ryan Hall. Again, that's ziprecruiter.com/Ryan Hall. There's a link at the top of the description. Huge shout out to ZipRecruiter for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back into the forecast. Now here's what the radar could look like today as those storms get going. About 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. We're going to have some decent cells popping up around Midland up towards Wichita Falls. They're going to start off as discrete or semi-discrete cells, maybe multi-cluster cells. And then as we go towards the overnight period into the early morning hours tomorrow, we're going to have even more cells forming back here. And once again, I think the main threat for these initial cells is almost certainly going to be hail and wind. We can't rule out an isolated tornado or two, but certainly by the time we get into the early morning hours on Monday, especially as the storms approach Dallas, the threat is not going to be tornadic at all, really, and it's going to be mostly a damaging wind thing. In fact, the HRRR shows a pretty robust squall line going through Dallas around 7 a.m. on your Monday morning, and some heavy rain extending up towards Little Rock. But notice how as we head into the heating of the day, we are going to try to see some new convection here, some new cells forming in the warm sector. That's where we could have a little bit of a tornado problem on Monday. And then, you know what, let's just keep going. That squall line's going to progress farther east. And yeah, I see a pretty significant signature here for a classic fall tornado setup. If we actually get this cold front coming through and we get the storms forming in the evening here around Louisiana and Mississippi, and they stay somewhat discreet as they move up into Mississippi and Alabama, those storms could cause some isolated tornadic problems. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. It's too early to talk about specifics, but just know that this system is going to cause severe weather for everybody that it touches as we go through Tuesday. Another thing that this system is going to do is bring about a bunch of rain. We're talking about 1 to 3 inches of rain from the hill country of Texas up past Dallas into southwestern Arkansas, and a general 1 to 2 inches, maybe a couple of places we'll see more than that over into the deep south. But just know that it looks like the heaviest rain is going to fall on Monday into Tuesday, and that's why we have an excessive rainfall outlook for areas east of Dallas up towards Memphis and most of the state of Arkansas for a slight chance of some flash flooding here and there as a result of this heavy rain coming down in a short period of time. All right, now just for fun, let's talk about what happens after Thanksgiving, because the GFS is throwing us some crazy curveballs here. So if this actually happens, after Thanksgiving is going to be one of the most interesting and impactful periods of weather that we've seen in a long time. Okay, so immediately after Thanksgiving, by November 30th, we've got a pretty substantial storm system bringing about flooding rains and severe weather to the deep south. We're talking about snow in Kansas and Missouri. We're talking about some serious problems problems with flooding here on the front side here with a ton of Gulf moisture. And then while all of this is happening, we have a massive Arctic cold outbreak spilling over into the West Coast and down into the Rockies with a classic big time low pressure system forming as the storm system moves over into the plains. And my goodness, here's another round of severe weather, potentially on December 1st. A massive blizzard for New Mexico, the panhandle of Texas and Oklahoma. Huge blockbuster snowstorm for Kansas up through Iowa into Minnesota. More continued severe weather on the east side and flash flooding. This is, once again, just an incredible signature from the GFS. Massive blizzard up here in the north. Another potential tornado outbreak as we go into your day on Tuesday. I don't think that we'll see anything quite like this, but just know that this is not necessarily unusual. It is this time of year we get these big, powerful systems that come through and cause problems in terms of snow and severe weather. This one just looks a little bit bigger than I guess what we would expect to see, and I would expect. And I do expect that that's going to change over time. The GFS is very often a little bit too bullish with its predictions this far out. And speaking of that, let's just keep going, because look at this, son. The GFS, just to show you how ridiculous the GFS is being, it also shows a hurricane or tropical storm in the Gulf making landfall in Florida on December 6th. So, yeah, that's what we're dealing with here. After Thanksgiving, everything becomes a little bit unclear. But the fact that we're seeing all this does mean that there is some sort of signal for increased activity overall after Thanksgiving. So I do think that we're going to be busy. I think we're going to have snow and storms and stuff. I don't know if we're going to have a blizzard, a tornado outbreak, and a hurricane all in the same week in December. But hey, it's an extreme possibility. So I guess stay tuned. And as we go forward, I'll have more updates for you. We're going to have another video tomorrow. And once again, we might be going live tomorrow. There's even a slight chance of a live stream on Tuesday. So subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on. We'll have another video for Thanksgiving travel updates potentially in the next couple of days as well. So subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and all that stuff as well. I got rapid fire updates going out over there, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.